To the Pastor's Podcast. Good to have you along with me on this Tuesday morning. And I know yesterday I said I was going to be going into surgery today. That may have been delayed. The surgery is not supposed to be until this afternoon, and I'm just having a little bit of issues with my insurance and the doctor or the hospital really, and so we're having to kind of rework some things, and hopefully we can get something settled here today and figured out. If not, I got to wait another week and for another doctor to kind of tell me what to do. But I'm okay, and I appreciate those who are praying for me. I just wanted to let you know what's going on there, why I'm showing up today when you thought I wasn't, and surprise, surprise. And it's always good to be here in the office to be able to work and, of course, prepare for Sunday sermons as I studied today. Had a good day out yesterday afternoon out soul winning with my son-in-law, Brother Hall. I know I had a couple saved. He had one saved, and then people lined up to come for Sunday already. I think I got about 7 lined up to come yesterday for Sunday, and then he's got someone. And it's just a matter of following up, my friend. You can't stop. You got to keep on going. Lord knows what he's doing in everything that's happening in our lives. And I'm always excited to be able to be a part of his team, working for him. It is a great day to be a Christian. Today, I want to talk to you about the lure of grievous wolves. In Acts chapter 20, and in verses 29 and 30, the scripture says, "For I know this is Paul, this is what he says, for I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. Also of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things, to draw away disciples after them." Paul cautioned the believer about people who come to your church who will draw away disciples after them. Now, these people who come to your church grab the hearts of certain people in your church, and then when they leave, they deceitfully draw others from your church with them in an attempt to destroy your church. Now, Paul says these people speak perverse things. The word perverse means contrary. In other words, these evil people speak behind the pastor's back about things they disagree with the pastor about to draw people to them, so that way they can draw them away with them when they leave. There's nothing more evil than someone doing that. I want to share a couple of thoughts with you about this evil. First, you have to be aware of those who speak contrary behind the pastor's back. Now, Paul calls them grievous wolves. Never allow yourself to get around these grievous wolves, because they will turn your heart away from a church that has invested in you and made you the believer you are today. I would even say this: you better be careful about these people on podcasts. I know I have one, but you got to be careful about people that are trying to turn you against your pastor. Now, if your pastor is doing something wrong and he's doctrinally off, that's a whole different ballgame. But I'm talking about people that just want to criticize a good man. Listen to me. That is not doctrinally off. Now, we got to watch out for them. They come into our churches, and they come into our churches even through podcasts and emails and everything that all the avenues we have today. You see, Satan can take what some people use for good, and he can use it for bad. So we have to be aware of those who speak contrary behind our pastor's back. Second, always remember that the pastor has likely invested more in you than the grievous wolf who does a Bible study in their home to draw you away in their so-called knowledge. The pastor who's so bad created an atmosphere in your church to lead the lost to Jesus Christ. And you would likely not be saved without that pastor, without God using that pastor to create the atmosphere, a soul-winning atmosphere. Now, that pastor has preached many sermons that have helped you and your family. Whether you were there or not, he's preached them to help. He has prayed for you. He has helped you when you reached out to him, and he has given his life to help you and your family. Now, don't let a grievous wolf pull you away with their selfishness and the evil that they have to kind of draw you because they're so smart. Third, a preacher who allows grievous wolves in his church will find the wolf will eventually come out of the wolf. So don't be joyous when disgruntled people join your church through a transfer from another church. They will likely become disgruntled with you. It's just how it is. I have the mindset that if they transfer in, they likely are going to transfer out. I cannot tell you how many people have transferred into Maranatha Baptist Church who have also transferred out. People that I and even the church has invested much into these people. And then they leave in a disgruntled fashion for whatever reason. And their reasoning is absolutely wrong, and they know it. Now, the pastor cannot play with wolves without the wolf hurting you. So when someone transfers into the church because they've hurt another church, you better watch out. That wolf is going to come out of them. You cannot take disgruntled people without them hurting your church. They're going to hurt your church at some point. They're excited at the beginning, but they're going to hurt you in the end. You'd be wise not to make it easy for people who have left the church in a disgruntled fashion to attend your church. One of the things I do is I never visit people who I know are from another church. When they visit my church, and I know that they're a member of another church, I don't go to the house to visit them, try to draw them in. You say, why not? Because that's not my job. I'd rather reach the lost and try to bring disgruntled people over. You'd be wise never to visit them. And if they choose to join your church, be slow in giving them a position, because the time without position will show their heart if they're really right with God. Fourth, if you are not in agreement with your pastor, don't become a grievous wolf if you leave. So when you leave a church, do not try to get others to come with you. When you leave a church, don't talk about your grievances of the church that you used to go to when you leave the church. You left for a reason, therefore stop calling the people of that church and trying to woo them over to you. That is nothing but a wolf trying to draw people to themselves. If you run into people from the church you left, encourage them to stay in their church. Do not talk about why you left, because it's not your job to do it. The Holy Spirit's to do that job. God can work on their heart to leave if that church is doing wrong. And if they don't want to listen to God, that's on them, not you. You don't need to become a wolf to try to pull someone over. Every time I've left the church, I've left a couple churches because of disagreement. But when I left, the church never knew why I left. Never. You say, why? Not my job. That wasn't my church. That pastor's pastored that church. He's invested in them. It doesn't matter. Now, two of those men that I left, they're not even in the ministry. They're completely out of the ministry. Now, get this now. Now, it wasn't my job. God took care of his business. I took care of mine. And that was this. My job was not to talk to everybody inside the church. Doesn't matter what the pastor says about you behind your back. He can lie and he can get people to believe them. But let me tell you something. Don't you go in. I was in a church, and a man, the pastor had to leave for some reasons, and one of the men on staff went behind everyone's back and started sewing tracts inside this church because he started a church just a few minutes down the way. Now, that's wrong. That's wrong. You say, why? That church was a good church. They can't help what happened. Now, we've got to watch out for these grievous wolves. They always talk great. They always try to show you how smart they are. They always try to make it sound as if they care more for you than the pastor does, just like Absalom did. People leading a church is an unsavory part of the ministry. It's just going to happen. As a pastor, don't talk bad about those people, because they might come back one day. And if they do, wonderful. But you don't want to just talk bad about them. So if you're a church member, don't give time to those who leave as they just may be a grievous wolf. If they've left, they've left. I've had people leave. I'll call them up a couple of times, say, hey, what's going on? And if they tell me they're leaving, I say, okay, there's the door. I've done that. I had a guy come in my office one day. I'm leaving because I disagree. I think he thought I was going to talk to him. I said, well, there's the door. I said, hope best for you. And then he left. And now listen to me. He's a fine young man, but can I tell you, it's not I'm not going to try to hold him in. If I do, they're going to cause problems in the church. Our job is to try to win the lost for Jesus Christ. Let's do that. Let's build our churches by winning the lost. If someone transfers in, wonderful, but be careful, because if they left one place disgruntled, they're likely going to leave you disgruntled at some point. So this is how we deal with it. That's what the Bible tells us to do, and this will help you in your life whenever someone comes to the church. Let's just be busy about doing this. Let's build our church through new converts, and if we do that, then we're getting people that'll be loyal to us, that will learn doctrine from us, and they'll have their heart will be in us because we've reached out to them. Well, my friend, I hope this is a great help to you today. Now let's remember today, be good to everyone. Everyone's